Hello, this is Suzanne Momback. I am here today interviewing Greta Guarin. Greta is the executive director of the Long Island Coalition for the Homeless. She started working with this organization in 1966 and has been with them for 24 years. How she got involved with this social service agency was her passion for helping adults with psychiatric disorders. Many of the homeless population suffer from these disorders, and as she began to learn more about the homeless population on Long Island, she was inspired to help and support them. The Long Island Coalition is located in Amityville at 600 Albany Avenue. The mission of the Coalition for the Homeless is to overall end homelessness in general and to alleviate the issues for Long Islanders and poverty. The coalition works with 125 organizations across Nassau and Suffolk County, helping get the homeless off the streets and into shelters and permanent housing. Throughout the year, Long Island Coalition for the Homeless runs multiple fundraisers and events, such as Backpack Pirates, where they collect school supplies. They also run a community garden over the summer, growing vegetables and serving meals consisting of their harvest. Year long, they run a boutique in which the homeless and those living in poverty may get to go and get basic needs, such as household things, clothing, and other essential items. And their most well-known annual event is the Have a Heart for the Homeless Candlelight Vigil to spread awareness about homelessness in Long Island.
How are you today, Greta?
I'm okay, thank you, Suzanne. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I just had a couple of questions for you about the coalition and your mission. For starters, how long have you been with the coalition?
I actually started with the coalition in 1996, so 24 years.
And what inspired you to get involved with this organization?
I started off working with adults with psychiatric disabilities. That has always been that was originally my passion. And many of the homeless population, especially folks that are living on the street, have mental health disorders. And I started to learn more about what was going on with the homeless in our region. And I really wanted to work with them and support the agencies that help them.
Okay, that's a beautiful way to look at things and wanting to get involved and helping them out. So what does your general day-to-day work consist of?
The Long Island Coalition for the Homeless, our ultimate mission is to end homelessness in Nassau and Suffolk County and to alleviate the issues associated with homelessness and poverty for Long Islanders at risk and in need. So we have case management and street outreach programs that work directly with folks that are living in shelters or on the street, and their focus and goal is to get people out of homelessness and into permanent housing. We work with nonprofit housing providers throughout Nassau and Suffolk counties to make that happen. We have various programs, including the boutique, which I know you know pretty well.
Yes.
Our boutique is a completely volunteer-run essential services distribution center, essentially, for Long Islanders in need. They don't have to be homeless. The focus and goal of that program is to get essential items into the hands of people that are in need so that they could spend the little money that they have on things like rent.
On the housing issues.
Yeah, if we can support them with food and with personal care items and clothing. In the summer, we do a big backpack and school supplies collection because, a backpack with school supplies could cost $60. $60 times however many children might be in a household. And with low-income families, that's just a lot. It's a lot to get kids to school. So if we can help cover things like that and, provide those kinds of things, then people are able to spend the money that they have to put gas in their car, or if they have a car, or for public transportation to get to a job. They can save the money to save towards rent, or if they need a security deposit or whatever it is. We also do a lot of community outreach related to raising awareness about homelessness and poverty. Who's homeless? Why people become homeless? I think that there's a tremendous amount of stigma and misunderstanding about homelessness in general. And
I agree.
So we do what we can to support ourselves, to support programs that really raise awareness and help break that stigma. We also do a lot of training. We provide a lot of workshops for agencies that work with the homeless and other low income and underserved populations.
Amityville is really where you work out of, mainly focusing Nassau and Suffolk. Do you guys breach into like the New York City area, or you just stay out here?
We operate in Nassau and Suffolk counties, border to border.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't operate in New York City. New York City has plenty of their own programs. We've got enough to cover out here.
What agencies do you generally work with?
We work with about 125 agencies in Nassau and Suffolk.
Wow.
Some of the larger housing providers that we work with are Concern for Independent Living, Family Service League, United Veterans Beacon House, FREE, which is Family Residences and Essential Enterprises. Some smaller organizations include Mama's House in Nassau County. We work with SAIL, which is South Shore Association for Independent Living, Mercy Haven, Maureen's Haven, which doesn't provide permanent housing, but does a shelter program in the winter for folks that are living out on the East End unsheltered. And we do a lot of work with them and many other programs, many other agencies. We provide training for their direct care staff on everything from motivational interviewing and harm reduction, critical time intervention, so that the folks that are working directly with people, trauma-informed care, they have the skills that they need and understand different approaches and modalities to really help and support the folks that we work with. We have workshops on funding, so that agencies can actually get funding to support those programs. We would all love to be able to do a lot.
Exactly. If we could help everyone, we would.
We can't do it for free. So
where do you guys generally get your donations from?
A lot of the funding for like our case management and our outreach program that I mentioned, most of those are federal programs, federal contracts. Some of them are one is a pass-through through New York's federal funding through HUD. Most of the others are from HUD. Those are for the programs like what I mentioned, our case management and our outreach staff. We have staff that work with agencies, housing providers with their vacancies, and then we match them up with our clients to get them into those vacancies.
I'm sorry. What is HUD? You were saying HUD?
Is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay.
So they're the federal program that basically manages almost all of the housing programs on a federal level. They partner with others in some cases, like Veterans Administration and HUD work together on a voucher program specifically for veterans, a housing voucher program specifically for veterans. But if you've heard of like Section 8 housing, or you've heard of like sometimes people call them the projects, but they're project-based housing programs. That's all through HUD. And a lot of the funding that we get comes through that particular organization, federal entity.
Okay.
We write some foundation grants. We apply for different funding through different foundations. And then we are very fortunate that we have people in our communities that support our program. The boutique itself, the items that we give away are all donated in.
I did just have another question on a other program that you do annually, the Heart for the Homeless Candle Vigil.
So yeah.
Would you be able to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. The Have a Heart for the Homeless Candlelight Vigil started out originally as really an opportunity to raise awareness. Like I mentioned before, it was intended to raise awareness about homelessness and poverty on Long Island. Over the years, it grew to where we included agencies that have different programs that serve the homeless or folks that are in need, so that people who come to the event can find out about services that are available for them. We started incorporating things like free haircuts. We would get cosmetologists and hairdressers, licensed hairdressers to come in and do free haircuts for folks. A few years ago, we started incorporating health screenings as well. So this year, we had breast cancer mobile van and HIV mobile van. We had oral health and oral cancer screenings, hearing and speech screenings, diabetes, blood pressure, probably others that I'm not remembering right now. They're all screenings all scheduled. And then we also, similar to the boutique, we also have a large distribution of essential items on that day. So we do all of that, and then at the end, we also do the awareness raising piece, and we have a ceremony, candle lighting ceremony in memory of folks who have lost their lives to homelessness and to remember those who remain homeless. Unfortunately, This year, the event was scheduled for March 17th. And as you can imagine, an event that usually has about 2,000 people or up to 2,000 people in one confined space did not happen.
It was canceled. Yes, unfortunately.
This year, since the state essentially went on lockdown a week before that. So
is it going to be rescheduled for the summer?
Yeah, it has been postponed. Once we know what's going on, the event is supposed to take place at our Farmingdale State College. So once we have a better idea of, where post-apex, post the peak, once we have a better idea of where we're heading towards and when it might be safe to hold such an event, it will be rescheduled. When we had to postpone it, we imagined that it would probably be late summer, early fall.
And is this the event that you guys are most proud of? Is there something else that you would consider to be your most well-known associated with Drive? Or
we have three major events every year. The Vigil is one, and it's actually maybe the oldest. It's the oldest that we have always operated. We do another event in the fall. I mentioned that we do a lot of training and workshops, included, we do them throughout the year, but one major thing that we do is a conference in the fall every year. And that's the Keys for the Homeless conference. That conference has been going on. This is the 35th annual, I think. So the Keys conference also is, it's a huge event. We do we've done up to 15 workshops. And again, those workshops they range, but they include, topics like developing different kinds of programs for the homeless, how to fund different types of programs for the homeless, different modalities for direct care, information about emerging populations. Something that we're seeing a lot more now is there's a lot of people on Long Island who are older. We're
kind of an older population.
Well, the baby boomers are the biggest population, right? And they're getting older now. And on Long Island, so many of them, they're homeowners. That's kind of what Long Island was built, primarily it's single family homes. So we have all of these adults who have been in homes that have been paid off for years, but the owners now are maybe both on Social Security, and then one of the partners dies. One of the spouses dies. They can't even pay the taxes anymore.
Yeah.
And they end up losing the homes that they've had for 50 years because they can't pay the taxes on the home.
Taxes.
Not the home itself. The homes are...
They own that, yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges like that. We're seeing a lot more of those folks actually not just losing their homes, ending up in shelters, working with an older population, and those folks being able to age in place. That's something that we've been working with a lot of our providers on because that's new. That's new for us. But we're housing more seniors in emergency shelter, and now our providers are housing more seniors. You're welcome.
It was very awesome getting to speak with you. And I appreciate you taking out the time. I know it's crazy and everything, but I appreciate you taking this time out of your day to run over this with me.
No problem. Glad to help. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.